Good evening. I'm Mark Gooding, ZL2UFI in Upper Hutt.
And I'm Debbie Morgan, ZL2DL in Upper Hutt.
And I'm Stephen McNeill, ZL4HG from Christchurch.
And I'm Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF in Nelson. And together we bring you the NZART official broadcast for November 2022. Good evening, everyone. Presidential comment leads tonight's broadcast. From Upper Hutt, here's our NZART President, Mark Gooding, ZL2UFI. Mark?
Kia ora and Pamari. In the last HQ info line, you would have read about a job vacancy at NZART HQ. As Debbie has stated, this is to ensure that we have some resilience at HQ and cover for annual leave and sickness. We initially employed Annalise into this role in August of 2020, but her role with AREC has now developed to the point where she has no hours left to support NZART HQ. Therefore, we are seeking within the Wellington region anybody who would be interested in a role at NZART HQ administration. The role is one that requires a presence at NZART HQ and is not a role with a hybrid work from home option. If you are interested, please in the first instance contact Debby to discuss the job requirements prior to submitting a covering letter and CV. We expect to go to interview before year's end, with the role starting in February 2023. Two NZART officer vacancies, namely the Local Government Liaison Officer and the Administration Officer positions, are still available. Contact Debby at NZART HQ for a copy of the job description if you are interested. As part of these new vacancies, a review is underway of all officer positions as to their status, required or not, the attributes of the role, and succession planning or the provision of a deputy or assistant to assist in taking over the role and any training that is required to do so. If you have any comments on this, please send an email to NZART at nzart.org.nz so they can be included in the review. As Debbie will outline, subscriptions for 2023 are now due, and if you wish to take advantage of the $16 rebate, you need to pay no later than 30 November. After this date, the full subscription amount will be required. Finally, as advertised in the latest break-in, you will have seen a call for NZART Council and presidential nominations for the 2023-25 years. All nominations must be into the returning officer, Evan Sayer, by 31 December 2022. The vote for positions will be held next year. Look out for the January-February 2023 issue of Break-In for those standing and their biographical information. Stay safe and start planning for Christmas if you haven't already. That's it from me, and back to you, Jim.
Thank you, Mark. The President of NZART, Mark Gooding, ZL2UFI. The NZART QSL Bureau Manager, Ivan Horn, ZL2ATU, advises tonight that he has appointed a replacement ZL4 Sub-Bureau Manager following the death of Dave Adams, ZL4OZ. The ZL4 Sub-Bureau Manager is Peter Lang, ZL4TE, of 158A William Street in Cambridge, 3434. All ZL4 stations who use the Bureau are requested to furnish Peter, ZL4TE, with stamp-addressed envelopes. All envelopes which are with Patricia Adams will be forwarded to Peter, so the transition should go smoothly. The first batch of ZL4 cards will be posted to Peter, ZL4TE, next week, so he can commence his own method of processing cards. Ivan, ZL2ATU, notes that Patricia Adams took over processing QSL cards when Dave, ZL4OZ, became ill. She has done a tremendous job and is sincerely thanked. That information from Ivan Horn, ZL2ATU, the NZART QSL Bureau Manager. Time now for our NZART Business Manager's monthly update. To Upper Hutt we go and say a very good evening to Debby, ZL2DL.
Tēnā koe, Jim. Tēnā koutou katoa. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, every year at this time I'm duty-bound to remind all those who have not renewed their membership and wish to take the opportunity to pay at the discounted rate to please do so on or before the 30th of November. That's 2 days, folks. Subs for individuals and family membership may deduct $16 from their annual payment. That is, $115 will become $99, not $89, and 145 becomes 129, not 110. This appears to be confusing some people. Postage to send out reminder notices to these people is in excess of $1,200, plus time and consumables for printing these. At present, we have around 900 members who have yet to renew. It has been NZART practice to include the annual subscription invoice in the August break-in every year for over 20 years. Furthermore, several messages reminding members to pay before the end of November to be eligible for the rebate has been widely publicised in HQ Infoline, the official broadcast, the NZART website, and also in break-in. Break-in postage itself costs the association over $7,000 a year, which is why we include the original invoice with it in August. NZART needs to ensure we follow prudent business practices to remain viable for you, the member, into the future. Moving into the future, December the 31st is the closing date for remits to be received in time for conference next year. More importantly, this is also the closing date for receipt of nominations for President and Council. Next year, NZART are seeking nominations for 6 councillors plus a President. 2 councillors in the North Island, 2 in the South, and 2 throughout the country. This allows fair representation for both islands. It is hoped that the 2 additional councillors will also be spread between the North Island and South Island, although not a requirement. Please contact me at HQ for a nomination form. Finally, NZART headquarters will be closing from Friday the 23rd of December and reopen Monday the 9th of January. However, rest assured any nominations or remits submitted on or before the 31st of December will be acknowledged via email. Well, that's about it from me, Jim. Ngā mihi nui, he kono rā. Back to you.
Thank you, Debbie. Debbie Morgan, ZL2DL, the NZART Business Manager. The 2022 Field Day Contest, all bands 6 metres and above, is to be held next weekend, Saturday the 3rd and Sunday the 4th of December. Operating periods are 5 p.m. until 11 p.m. on the Saturday and 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. on the Sunday, New Zealand local time. Full details and the rules for the contest are on the NZART webpage, nzart.org.nz/activities. Straight Key Night Summer Edition will be held next Sunday, the 4th of December, from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on 80 metres. Straight Key Night is not a contest, but it's a great chance to dust off that straight key and let us hear what we can do. New to CW? No problem. We'll happily match your speed. Details are at radio1nz.com/SKN. radio1nz.com/SKN. Straight Key Night, Summer Edition, next Sunday the 4th of December. Next up tonight, International Amateur Radio News. Let's join the team at the Amateur Radio Newsline.
Battery technology continues to change, and the latest evolution announced recently is a super small rechargeable micro battery with a high tolerance for variations in temperature and a lifespan of between 1 and 2 decades. Ken Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us about this new development and what scientists are saying about it.
A company in France believes it has come up with the latest solution to provide battery power for micro-power devices. The company Iton has developed an ultra-small rechargeable lithium battery. At first glance, the surface-mount solid-state battery might easily be mistaken for an SMD chip, as its housing is only slightly larger than the battery's own dimensions of 3.2 by 2.5 millimeter. They are, of course, not chips. These batteries have a capacity of between 0.1 and 0.5 milliamp hour. They were found capable of tolerating temperatures between minus 40 degrees Celsius or minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way to 85 degrees Celsius or 185 degrees Fahrenheit. Their ability to deliver peak currents make them especially useful for powering RF transmissions, such as Bluetooth, Sigfox, and LTE, to deliver packets of data via sensors. The website CNX software also sees the batteries as being useful for sensor data loggers, beacons, and backup power supplies for microcontrollers. The solid-state technology is considered another plus, contributing toward a usable lifespan of between 10 and 20 years. The company has said the batteries are also fast-charging. The website Hackaday poses the following challenge, quote, "We'd be particularly interested to learn about their temperature sensitivity when it comes to soldering, as we've taken to heart the warnings about soldering to more traditional lithium cells," end quote. The website noted there are apparently some evaluation kits available directly from the company in France. This is Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
The entire month of December is being devoted to reliving radio history. The Radio Society of Great Britain will mark the centenary of the transatlantic tests, which firmly established that amateur radio communication could cross the ocean. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, gives us those details.
The Radio Society of Great Britain has activated historic call signs to mark a series of historic moments 100 years ago. The successful one-way transatlantic radio communication showed the HF bands to be well suited for amateur signals crossing an ocean. The first amateur transmission from Europe using the call sign G5WS was heard in North America on the 24th of December 1922. The RSGB is inviting society members to participate in the month-long celebration by activating a station, and is encouraging the rest of the world to listen. The context this time will be via two-way communication, with awards available for operators logging QSOs with stations using the historic call signs. In England, these are G5WS, G5AT, G6XX, G6ZZ, and G3DR. The station in Scotland will be GM5WS, Wales will be using GW5WS, and Northern Ireland GI5WS. In the English Channel, operators from the Crown Dependency of Guernsey will be using GU5WS, and those from Jersey will be using GJ5WS. Operators from the Isle of Man and other Crown Dependency in the Irish Sea will be using GD5WS. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
For now, with Karen Eve Marie, KD2 GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9 GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2022. All rights reserved.
And as always, we say thank you to Newsline for the use of their copyright material. All amateur radio activity was banned in 1939 at the outbreak of the war in Europe. On December the 8th, in 1945, amateurs were permitted to return to the air. H-Night is a commemorative contest established after the return of amateurs to the air. This year, the AM H-Night contest is to be held on Thursday, December the 8th. This contest is always a friendly one. The frequencies used are at the upper end of 80 metres, and again, the special call ZL6H will be active. Full details, including the rules and scoring for each night, are on the NZART webpage, and that's at www.nzart.org.nz. The AMH Night Contest on Thursday, the 8th of December. Finally, in tonight's official broadcast lineup, it's Branch News. Here's Stephen McNeill, ZL4HG.
Thanks, Jim, and good evening, everyone. And it's the season for Christmas events. So we start with North Shore Branch 29 NZART, which has its Christmas social on Monday, December the 5th, starting 5:30 p.m. Over to Napier Branch 25 NZART, which has its next meeting at the club rooms at 123 Latham Street, in Napier on Wednesday the 7th of December. This will be the Christmas wind-up, so bring along a spot of cheer to end the year. And of course, all are welcome. The Motueka Branch 24 NZART has its Christmas dinner at the Motueka RSA, 49 High Street in Motueka, on Thursday the 15th of December. Meet for drinks at 6 p.m, with dinner at 7 p.m. And if you'd like to attend, please RSVP to Barry Davenport, ZL2LN, by the 13th of December. at the very latest. By email, this is barry.bev.davenport@gmail.com. That's barry.bev.davenport@gmail.com. Wellington Branch 50 NZART is arranging a Christmas lunch on Monday the 5th of December at 11:55 a.m. at the Petone Working Men's Club. Now, more details will be available from the branch. And finally, to Christchurch Branch 05, which has the club annual general meeting on Wednesday the 7th of December at the club rooms at 5 Idris Road, starting 7:30 p.m. And this will be followed by a general meeting and the traditional Christmas food and drink. Well, that's all from me. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen McNeill, ZL4HG, reporting from Christchurch. The next official broadcast of NZART, and the last for 2022, will be made by ZL6A at 8 p.m. on the Sunday before Christmas. That's Sunday the 18th of December. Sunday the 18th of December. This is ZL6A, headquarters station of the New Zealand Association of Radio Transmitters, concluding the NZART official broadcast for November 2022. Good night, everyone. Good night now.